Until you recognize the pattern, you cannot form a strategy to make sense of the pattern. The best way that I can describe this is the way that we operate in grocery stores. I can go in a grocery store I've never been in, like the market down here at the bottom, which I cannot pronounce. I don't care if I don't have schema, because I know absolutely the pattern, the organizational structure of how content within a grocery store is organized. I now have strategies. If I want my meat, I go straight to the back. If I go between the aisles, I know that there will be a straight shot that's more efficient than going around. I don't care what grocery store I'm in. If I want a single Snickers candy bar, the strategy for me is not to go to the candy aisle. It is to stay up front. My survival strategy in the grocery store, based on pattern, is to, while I'm in line, never look right. Because if I look right, based on pattern, I will buy junk that I absolutely do not need. Because there is nothing that I need as a human being that is to the right of the checkout line. I do not need a flashlight that is a keychain that glows in the dark that smells as an air freshener. But I will purchase it if I look right. I could not develop that survival and efficiency strategy if I did not know the pattern. So talking to kids about strategy is irrelevant if they do not know when and where and how to use the strategy. Saying to kids, we're going to infer this week. On what? On what? Because the inferences I make in a math book are absolutely different than the inferences I make in a poem to make meaning. So survival in the world of volume, abundance, and dynamic information is about pattern making and pattern seeking and meaning making. So our first job as teachers is to discover the pattern and reveal it to kids. We can only do that if we come ready for that work. Not ready, well, I taught this book for 15 years and I know that these are the words I'm going to use. You're not discovering the pattern, you're looking at the content. So today, as pattern seekers and meaning makers, we are going to explore and collect the patterns that writers use to communicate their stories in this context, in historical fiction. Specifically, here's what we're going to identify. Two of us are going to look at the language historical fiction storytellers use. What are the patterns if I read this book and this book and this book? What do I notice about the language? The syntax, the flow, the components of language? Are there lots of adjectives? Is it formal? Is it weird? Like, does it say hypotenuse in it? Are there words we would never experience in the world except? So what are 2 or 3 patterns in the way historical fiction storytellers tell their stories? All right? And then, what are the things that I can count on in the structure and container of that pattern? So that if I open this book and it's historical fiction, what can I count on? Is there going to be a table of contents? Where's the bread? Where's the meat? Where's the single Snickers candy bar? What are the elements of the genre and the medium that would tell me, oh my gosh, I'm reading a historical fiction book, okay? Now that I can do that, now I can say, what is one strategy that helps you find and make sense when you're navigating these aisles? And don't say, I use questions. I ask questions, okay? Where do you ask them? When do you ask them? What kind of questions? Be specific. And then finally, the last quadrant is really examining the quality and the craft and the technique. Because, yeah, this could be a historical fiction book, but it's crappy. Sorry, okay. But this is brilliant. What's the difference? Because they both did this and they both did this, but there is definitely a difference in the power of the message conveyed. and what did we learn about that writer, about their purpose, about their background that would allow them to be an extraordinary storyteller. The options you can think about, even between traditional literature or even so you've got excuse me. So let's do a page there. So what the hard part about this in the beginning is that proficiency and perfection are our blind spots. Proficiency is our deficiency. Listen to this. Proficiency is our deficiency. Because the moment you have positioned yourself as I've got it, I'm an expert, I can do this, you stop paying attention. And things go into automatic. So if you look at driving, which is a lot like reading, if you've taken the same route every single day for an extended amount of time where the pattern is so much a part of you that it's gone from the cognitive part of your brain to the automatic, you are doing it without thinking. You literally end up in your driveway and go, I don't actually remember driving today, but apparently I made it to the interstate, right? Until a condition forces you to pay attention. There's a bump in the road, or traffic, or you're on a new road. So the moment you enter a new environment, I don't care if you've been riding that route for 50 years, if you enter a new environment, you are not doing it automatic. You are an emergent driver. I'm an emergent driver. We have been emergent drivers all week. It's been awful. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Because your roads are complex. I don't like them. This is how I feel. I do not like them. In Iowa, if you go off an exit, you get right back on, and you lose no time. You go off an exit here, 38 minutes later. It's very irritating. Very irritating. To be very honest. And the life story is the context is worse. So, I am asking you to slow down your car. Because if I ask you to write down everything you did, every skill you engaged in, every thought, every action, every behavior that it took you to get from your house to here, there's hundreds, but they're invisible. You don't even know you're doing it. So you need a group to help excavate the pattern because you're blind right now because of your proficiency.